All right. Well, I'll hand it off to our first presenting artist, and she is Natasha Beste. And she's going to introduce and get things going and introduce us to her art and presentation. So Natasha, take it away.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks, Ebony. Congrats, Leith. Hi, everyone. I'm Natasha Beste. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an interdisciplinary artist, and truly at the art of my practice is storytelling. I'm a video director, installation artist, animator, performer. I really love to utilize found video, found objects, both personal, ones belonging to family members. I also love using home movies, old and new. I take them all, I curate them and use them like puzzle pieces in my personal narratives surrounding mind, body, trauma. And I've essentially been using art as ritual where I'm really creating space and time for myself to invite supporting witnesses to sit with me and really experience how I feel. My inspirations might be really deep and heavy and dark, but I'm always hoping that through my combinations of mediums and the techniques that I use, that I'm still bringing forth, playfulness and humor and weirdness. My art really has been a way for me to express myself in the most deep and authentic way, with absolutely no room for judgment of, me judging myself or masking for others. And tonight I'm going to share with you all a film I created called Times a Godzillion. In this film, it's about my mother and how I've always been looking for ways to connect with her, even after she's left this earth. During COVID, it really allowed me to slow down and take a look at my own space, my house, and the objects that I surround myself with. They all have a story. And me being able to be here and slow down and look at this, I realized this story and how everything relates back to my mother and how she's influenced me and she's part of my own personality. In this, I use home movies, video games, old 80s film that some of you might recognize. It's all inspired by personal work surrounding death and communicating with spirit. I've been successfully working with healers and guides and plant medicines to help really walk through grief and heal other side effects of CPTSD and complex trauma. I didn't have to go far physically to create this film, but I felt like I traveled decades into the past and into the future. I don't want to over-explain it, but I'm happy to and look forward to happily answering any questions or curiosities about what I've included in the film after. And at the beginning of the film, I kind of do hold your hand a bit with some subtitles. But then I kind of zoom off into the clouds where you have to kind of find your way around yourself. Then at the end, I bring it back with a message sent through a direct channeler. So we kind of end up back in reality again in my house. And, this film is about letting go of things too, things that don't serve you and your best self. And right before making this film, I found an old Facebook message from my mom, which is kind of bizarre. She never was on Facebook, but kind of popped out to me. And I'm going to ask you the same thing and give you the same advice that she said to me. Just something to think about. What do you want to keep in your house? Only keep what you really, really want. Clear the rest out. Thanks.
could have all this money. Buy whatever you want. You can buy records and CDs and DVDs. You can buy a bunch of cool clothes, makeup, bubble bath. Buy whatever the hell you want.
Hello, Mommy. Where's Mommy?
And on the other side, you can wash them.
Here, let's stir them up.
I tried to.
Okay.
I'm the mom.
You're the mom, okay. I'm the charge. I'm the mom, Joe.
Oh,
Did you turn it on? Did you turn your oven on?
Yeah, she can turn it on.
Okay.
Well, make sure it's off when you go to sleep or something.
Okay, listen. I don't know who is in my body now. I don't know if I'm the one speaking. Who is this? Oh, shit. Okay. I'm like trying to mediate this. It's okay. You can use my body. It's okay. Yes. Just for right now. Not. But then you take over. I'm trying to tell you something. Oh my God. I'm trying to tell you something. Mom, I'm listening. So just tell me, please. I'm trying to tell you something. Oh my God. God, what have I done? I'm trying to tell you something. Is this my mom? Are you my mom? Fuck, I messed up, you guys. I'm trying to tell you something. Far. I'm fighting to be in my own body right now. I'm trying to tell you something. Oh my God. I hear you. Trying to tell you. I'm trying to tell you something.
Okay, so any infections, diagnoses, psychic attacks, voices, entities, demons, spirits, ghosts, hallucinations, poor health, life struggles, bad luck, or negativity, destroy and uncreate them all times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Everything that brings up, destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. Anything preventing my life from coming to me with ease, joy, and glory, destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds. All entities, who are you and what do you want? Who were you and what did you want before that? Who were you and what did you want before that? Who were you and what did you want before that? Who were you and what did you want before that? Who will you be and what will you want in the future? Everything that is destroy and uncreate it all times a godzillion, right and wrong, good and bad, pod and pock, all nine shorts, boys, and beyonds.
It's so funny. Can I bring in your mom? because
Yeah.
she's that, yeah, I feel really a beautiful presence. And I know it's her, and I wonder if that was her. I've never heard that before, in my voice, in my ear like that. Hello, girls. I'm so sorry. I know I am not very polished with how I make my entrance. I like to tinker with things. I know you know this, my dear precious daughter. I like to play around with things, and from this side, I like to rewire. And so I wonder if you are feeling playful ever, if you wish to play around in the energy of that with me, because I think we could have quite a lark. Yes, I do. I think we could have quite a grand fun time. But you are right in recognizing I need to be here and have the microphone, even just for a short stint, because I have some things to say that I believe, or that I hope have the power to lay your sweet heart at ease and to rest in such a way that you are able to breathe deeper, trust more, and be more of who you are meant to be. So here's what I would wish to impart. Firstly, I would say that for all the things I have been labeled with, the only one that rings true is that I came to live fully in accordance with my own rules. I pause to let that settle a bit, because it can be very easy to feel pity for one who has quote unquote mental illness. It can be very easy to find pity for one who seems so lost or so unreliable or so erratic or so, well, you fill in the blanks. There has been many descriptions that have been applied to me, many judgments, in fact, that come with the description. So if we could suspend that just for a moment. Look at that. I put it up in a hot air balloon, and now it is floating away. All the judgments, all of the harshness, all of the application of negativity floating away. Do you like that, my dear one? It is such a colorful balloon to watch floating away in the sky. Anyways, I digress. I am wanting for you to know that I lived as intended in my incarnation. Know that I am held in such a grand high way now that I do not, cannot, and have absolutely no intention or desire to retrace steps where you would be feeling guilty, or where you would have to reprocess something painful. That, my darling, is called suffering, and I have completely opted out. Oh, good.
That's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. Mercy. Oh, wow. You covered a lot of ground in this. First of all, I gotta say, you're a mood maker of the highest order. This was ethereally moody to just set the tone before you got into, the context of everything. And I've just got to ask you, just right off the rip, the possession, the middle of that, I contextualize that for us a little bit.
Oh, wow. Okay. So, I mean, I'm going to be very blunt and honest. I mean, I don't think it's a bad thing. During COVID, and even before that a little bit, I was working with some healers and guides, and sitting in healing circles, working with ayahuasca and psilocybin. So that was a at home alone mission to connect with my mom through psilocybin, or magic mushrooms. And I definitely felt like I pushed it a little too far. And I was like, you know what, if something bad's gonna happen, I'm gonna record myself. And as I often document myself doing everything in my life, that was just another time where I was collecting. So everything's good, everything's fine. And it came, as I was curating different elements for this, that was I was like, how am I going to use this? This needs to be definitely you. So that was the time at home. Yep, when my mom or something was coming through. Uh-oh, did Chris freeze?
Yes, it looks like he's frozen for a moment.
Okay.
Apologies for the delay. All right, he's gone. He's going to sign back on. Thank you so much, Natasha. As we wait for Chris, I just want to say I thought that was absolutely compelling and beautiful, and it felt extremely sacred. And I know both me and everyone here who had an opportunity to view that are just so appreciative for you sharing something so sacred with us.
Well, I think it's really cool for Kresge to be as supportive and, you know, always making, you know, their artists feel very safe and brave, and just a really cool space to present honest work. And I think I'm just honored to be part of the family. So it's really cool.
Awesome, amazing. Chris is back. I'm adding the spotlight for him.
Okay, I missed some of that, but you were sort of putting some context behind that seance towards the middle of the film. That was a powerful element. I was just totally blown away. That and the time jumps you were doing to sort of establish the context and the connection. If you could just talk a little bit about that, and I didn't want to disrupt what you were talking about before, too.
Yeah. Well, I did, you know, I'm always thinking of things as a way, you know, what do they represent? What does the imagery, what does the movement, what does the sound, what do the colors, what do they represent? How do they make you feel? You know, and when I'm creating, I don't want it to be work. I'm not even thinking really. It kind of just, you know, it's kind of a silly thing, and it isn't this easy, but it is pretty magical the way things kind of are just, they kind of fall into place, whether I'm gathering material or when you're editing. It's really like a dance with the material. And the time, you know, I use some home videos. This you know, my grandparents raised me, so my mom would come visit during the holidays, and you know, she was playing with me. Somebody got me like the little kitchen set, and the part from that piece that really stood out was where I was like, I'm the mom, and you know, like, so just the playing of the mother, you know, taking on the mother role, and with my mom there, and I don't know, I felt like that was like a special time to show.
And it pulled at your heartstrings, you know, those old videos of you as a kid. I mean, just really kind of tied and everything together. It was like a mosaic that you were sort of presenting to us, and it just added so much punch. You got me all messed up, Natasha. You got me messed up for real.
Well, I hope you cry, but then also laugh.
Well, so. I'm trying to, you know, I've got my I got my man card here, so I'm trying to just hold it together here. I'm on screen, so but very poignant work, very poignant piece of art, and my God, you have a gift. You have a gift. I was trying to check chat because it seems like when I jumped off, it sort of erased all my chats. So I don't know if there were any questions before that, or if I'm missing any questions. So if I am, please type your questions again, and I will make sure that those are addressed for sure. I don't even know where to start with you, Natasha, because it was such an epic and wide spanning video that you put together. But how long did it take you? Give us some idea as far as the time that was put to sort of produce and string all of this together.
Yeah, so a lot of work is being done, and I feel like if you talk to a lot of experimental filmmakers, this is the way it goes, where a lot of the work is in your head. for like ever
Mhm.
and ever and ever and ever. And then
Yeah.
then you're like, oh, okay, I'm gonna sit down and like collect pieces or shoot pieces. And I don't know. I mean, it's kind of like this motivator of just, I need to make a film. I need to do something. Okay, what is that? What is it gonna say? And oh, what am I already doing? So it's really reflecting on what you're already, like, the things, the motions that you're already going through every day. And you know, a lot of that, I think I only shot, we shot uh when the palace was, you
I
know,
was gonna,
torn
yes,
down.
because I had forgotten about the palace being, vacated and eventually imploded.
Yeah. So
What?
that was the only material that I said, oh, I got to get that. And then the rest was stuff I just had already. I think possibly maybe in my house, I went and documented some things. And you know, that was really actually mirroring what my mom used to do in her house. She would document every single like section of her house. She didn't want to leave, so she would send the media home with my grandma for me to put on DVDs for her. And I was just, during COVID, I was doing the same thing. I was like, oh my God, okay, all right, Mom, I hear you. Like, okay, I'm digging being at home, so maybe it wasn't so bad you not leaving your house. Like, I'm getting it. So like, I don't know. I mean, only a couple months it took to make it all together, but a lot of it was just like, you wake up, you know, in the middle of the night, you're like, oh, I see this sequence, or ooh, this video game, this like part of this makes sense for this, and you like write it down or put it in your phone real quick, and then you go back to it. So
Yeah.
so it's like, it's a messy, weird process, but then it comes together.
Well, you got it out. You laid it out for us impeccably. Let's go to the chat for a couple questions. Let's decode the Star Wars references in there. Did I see some Ewoks and sort of kind of give us maybe the significance of that? Decode that for us, please.
Yeah, so I used yes, the Ewoks with Sintel, the little, it was like the young person that was looking for her mother. She was separated from her family, and she like teamed up with one of the Ewoks, and you know, they were trying to help her. But really it was as simple as that, a metaphor for, you know, looking for her mom. I've always been looking for my mom, even when she was here. So there's just this part in the film where she's like ill and she's kind of hurt, and she's just saying, I want mom, I want my mom.
Yeah.
And
That was something from my childhood that I sort of identified with. So I'm like, oh my goodness, she got to start. She got
yeah,
the Ewoks in there.
yeah, and that film really meant a lot to me when I was little. I
Yeah.
very much films were very powerful, and characters were powerful. I connected with them easily when I was little.
Absolutely. There's another question from chat here, and it's about, and this is from Nicole. She had a question about the statement that the medium was saying at the end. Was she channeling Teresa, and was that a big surprise for you, or was it something that you already knew?
Yeah, so when I did make that call with that channeler, I did specifically say, please try to get my mom, try to bring her in.
Yeah.
But she is someone who also channels even your higher self. And I think she brought my higher self in first, which is really like, wow, like, oh my gosh, like, that's so interesting to me. But then my mom was like, no, I gotta get in here. I gotta get it. I want to come and talk. So my mom just kind of showed up, and that was something that that was recorded. So I was able to use that. That was really special too.
Yeah. Let's see, another question. How long have you been making videos? This comes from Brooke.
So I started telling stories through videos when I was eight
Okay.
years old. So I'm 40. So do, I guess, the math on that. You know, long time.
Yeah. Let's see, another asks, how long did it take you to make the film?
Yeah, a couple months.
Okay.
Yep.
And this one comes from Kelly Willis. How often would you say your mom's spirit communicates with you?
I definitely, when I feel like when I needed her more and I needed her to be around more right after she passed, definitely I felt her more around, not so much now, but I think that there's been a lot of peace that I've found. And I kind of told her you don't have to stick around so much. So not so much now, but I mean, she's in me, she's in everything that surrounds me. So
yeah.
she's here, but
Absolutely. What challenges did you encounter making the video? Was it challenging for you to make the video? And if so, what were they?
Maybe just censoring myself and then wondering kind of like doing the anxiety jump of someone's gonna judge me, and then me having to say yuck, like this is my art, like I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I do enough censoring in other realms of my life, like I can just be totally me and there's no changing anything. So it was mostly just dealing with just having a little bit of fear, but tech wise, no challenges, nothing like that.
wow. The questions are really coming in. I just wanted to add that it seems like in the video, you're not only addressing, the dynamic and the synergy with your mom. It seems like you're also addressing the relationship between you and your art, and the resolution that you've come to as an artist with your craft. It seems like I got a little bit of that out of that presentation as well. Is that accurate, or am I just reaching?
I mean, I always find new things that my artwork means after I've made it, or even years after I've made things. So new things pop up, and I definitely would say this. Yeah, I mean, it definitely has to do with even just letting go of things that are not needed, that don't serve you, and this is kind of a dorky statement, but be true to yourself. I don't know what else to say. That's if you're not hurting anyone, why not just totally be you? I mean, that's actually a privilege to say that. I mean, I have some people can't be themselves, but
Right.
hopefully everyone, you should be able to. So.
Okay, I've got some rapid fire questions for you, so I'm just going to fire away here. How did you come up with your movie style for the video? And this is from an anonymous attendee. But
okay. I mean, I guess everything coming from my own. I need things to be a little weird. I need things to be a little adventurous. I don't want it to be very cut and dry and very easy. I could tell you oh, when I was a little girl, this happened, or but that's for me, that's not very fun. That's just kind of, I don't know. So I needed to be just more where you have to kind of work at it to try to figure it out. And I do love having the conversations too. So that's kind of part of it. My work could stand alone, but I am hoping that people engage in conversation. So.
This one comes from, I can't see the name, but the question was, I was wondering about the scene with you next to the large furry creature. How did you capture that scene? And what was the life-size furry creature? Was that someone in a suit? I've never seen Star Wars, so I'm not sure if it was from that film.
Oh, yeah, that was an Ewok from the film. I think a year or so before I played that, for Halloween, I was Sintel from that Ewok movie. And my husband bought the Ewok costume. So we had those images and it fit perfectly to go along. like I became Centel. I mean, when I was a little girl, I thought I was her, and I was like, I'm looking for my mom too. So it was like, it all kind of just was like matched up.
Yeah, it synced up nicely. Another question, did you ever get stuck during the dance of putting the piece together? And if so, how did you know how to push through or stop?
A lot of it is intuition. A lot of it is play, experimenting, putting things kind of in a random order, or like, no, I know exactly this has to end it. This has to do this, walk away from it, come back and watch it again. And if something is making me tear up, or if something's making me laugh, or if something's making me cry, or whatever, you know, I know that's like, okay, this fits. So it's kind of, it's a lot of just intuition, a lot of just, experimenting, playing, and, there's no, leaving perfectionism behind. I was very a perfectionist for my whole life. And I'm with my art, I can be free to, I do not have to be perfect. So it's freeing. And yeah, I can be satisfied with like an order and yes, this is telling what I want it to tell.
Yeah, that liberation comes out. That does come out in the piece. Another question, what did the burning money symbolize?
Yeah, so that is hell money, or it's called ghost money. It's an offering. It's burning as an offering to your loved ones, in my case my mother, burning this money so she can buy cool shit in the afterlife. Like it's for her. It's a paper, it's called a joss paper. It's a fake money that is meant to be burned though.
Okay. Let's see, we're running short on time, so I'm
Yep.
going to take maybe 2 more questions out of the chat, and they're just still coming. Your presentation was profoundly impactful.
Thank you.
So don't get mad at me if I miss your question here. I'm going to just try to choose. I'm going to just do eeny, meeny, miny, mo at this point. Let's go with what are some filmmakers that you were influenced by?
Oh geez. Well, video artist, Bill Viola. I really love Bill Viola. He's actually even worked with 9 Inch Nails, done video work for one of their concerts, and I featured the band 9 Inch Nails in this because it was the band that I saw with my mom it was my first concert in 1994 at the Palace. But yeah, Bill Viola, a lot of personal work. That when I first found out about his work, I was just like, oh my gosh, like this is exactly what I am like. I feel so connected and inspired by his work. So if you haven't seen any of Bill Viola's installation pieces or video art pieces, I would check those out.
Okay.
Definitely.
Great. And then I'll take one more question, and this is from Paul. What made you decide on the order of the film, the sequencing and so forth?
Yeah, again, intuition, playing and experimenting. Just kind of, you kind of try something, and also, the beginning is like this big, implosion. It's like the impact of, oh wow, my mother is gone, and thinking about the past, thinking about some of the things I did with her, and then thinking about my own space, and then going back to the past, and then kind of zooming into experimenting, doing things that are helping me walk through this grief, and kind of coming back, being grounded back in my own space. So you try things and then you figure out, oh yeah, this works. This means this, and this can like mean this next to this other thing. So it really is just experimenting and playing.
Okay, I'm going to take one more question because I think this is a good question. If you can try to keep this in about a 20-second answer soundbite. Okay. So what was your favorite part of the video making process?
Oh, oh shoot. After I had some pieces on the timeline, then maybe like, ooh, what else could I get? So then searching for those pieces, or searching through things I already had, or going and shooting extra footage. So it was like, I know this is almost done, but I just gotta get this or this. And that's like a good feeling.
Okay, so we'll wrap it here. For people that are interested in following your work and keeping track of you, where can they go to do so? And then afterwards, if you can put that contact information in the chat, that would be amazing.
Yeah, natashabeste.com. That's my website. I have a Instagram, natashabeste_art. You can also follow me at Skeleton Baggage. Yeah, and email me. I'll put that in the chat too. Thanks so much, though, and
Right.
thank you, Chris. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much for that amazing presentation, Natasha. And we're going to just get right into our transition and bring up our next artist. And the next artist that we're going to kind of bring and show you is Leith Campbell. No relation, maybe. It depends upon how far back you go, I guess,
We're all
right?
related, so we're just one big, beautiful family.
Absolutely. Well, Leith, why don't you introduce yourself and kind of set the tone for your video presentation, and just get right into your presentation.
Sure. I won't talk to the music too much. Talking about music's like dancing about architecture. But I will contextualize it a touch. It's called Bardo. Bardo is the state of in-betweenness between death and rebirth in Tibetan Buddhism, and to be perfectly frank, the movie came out, Bardo, and just the thought kind of started rattling around in my head, and just the knowledge that we just all went through a certain sort of Bardo. We all went through this waiting period from when the old life ended and the new life started, and that thought really appealed to me. So that's the title and kind of the feeling that went into the creation of this. And one of the things that happened through my Bardo, my time in between, a lot of things changed in my life, and so this music is a very sharp move away from what I'd done in the past, which was a creative practice that put the action and the sound and everything else away from my body, and decentralized my body and took me out of the spotlight. And this is me coming back after this waiting period, this meditation, this horrible meditation we all just went through, of being very close to the body, and very, very, when you play a wind instrument, you channel from the core, and you push it out into the world. And so I've really been working lately on making music that simply uses just as much as I can what I'm playing on the stage at that time, which is generally a saxophone and then hand claps or body percussion and stuff like that, to really center it and to simplify. And when you're doing electronic music, there's so many options that you need to throw 99% of them out to find a pathway through to your voice. So that's my dancing about architecture. So
yeah, right. Leith. Love that. Love that.
Thank you.
Um, just just ethereal, transcendent sound, cosmic even. My first question, and this is just from someone who has played saxophone, your stance and aperture suggests to me that you've probably been playing sax since maybe middle school, high school, and was probably first chair in the symphony band.
No, I was not sufficiently disciplined for such a distinction, but I've played the saxophone for a long, long time, and I played it through college and have played it in between and all that. So I had a real complex relationship with the instrument through the years. It's nice to be back with it. And so.
You know, many persons really don't think of an instrument like the saxophone being featured in electronic music. Kind of talk about that juxtaposition, how you've been able to work that into, because obviously you've got a facility with not only electronic production, but it seems like you're also quite adept at percussion, synths and things like that. What has it been working the saxophone into your electronic compositions?
Well, I mean, there's two veins there, right? And I'm a big proponent, practitioner of electroacoustic music, which is which in its very specific definition stems from Pierre Schaeffer and music concrete, which is using sounds that already exist and manipulating them to make new music out of it, and as opposed to synthesizing from whole cloth. And I, besides sampling outside sources, I just decided to start to sample myself in real time on stage while I'm doing it and manipulate that, which turns the saxophone into, if you're speaking in the terms of synthesis, every synthesizer has certain stages, but it all begins at the oscillator, and then the saxophone becomes my oscillator that I just manipulate using synthesis principles after that. And I find that that sax, especially being a conical bore instrument, has such a complex tone that it gives you a whole bunch of different parts of the timbre to pick apart and to use, and I like that freedom.
Yes. We've got some questions in the chat. Let's get right into it. Well, someone wanted to know, is that an English horn or a sax? I think we've established that it's a sax.
Soprano saxophone, bent
Yes.
next soprano sax, yeah.
Got it. What artists do you take inspiration from or influenced by? I hear several.
I'd like to hear what you hear, but right now, as of late, I've really been listening to the minimalists a lot. So Steve Reich and Philip Glass and stuff like that. This is kind of has a Reich feel to it. Like also a John Luther Adams with the spaciousness of it. I'm also a big fan lately of John Lurie, from the Lounge Lizards.
Yeah.
and then a zillion other things that I'm really just a big pair of ears with feet on it, walking around all the time. So there's a zillion things in there.
Okay, that question was from Rox. Here's something from Carl George. He says, I love seeing the classical training come out. I hear Carla Bley or Nino Rota and so many other influences in your work.
Yeah, I mean, and of course, Carla. I don't know the latter one, but I will certainly check it out. I graduated. My focus when I graduated college was on classical saxophone. Even though I could play jazz, it was more interesting to follow the classical vein because I had a really good teacher named Jeff Heisler at the time. He teaches out at Oakland now, and he was very into new and avant-garde classical music and extended technique and stuff like that. And it was really a good impression on me. And so yeah, I hold my horn and hold my body like somebody who sat and banged for 15 years. So.
Absolutely. Mike had a question. How much of the composition was pre-composed?
a lot of it actually. I mean, there's some improvisation when I'm doing the slides up and down, the pitch slides with the machine, and then of course the solo. But the form is pretty rock solid. Some of my other stuff I'm a little bit freer, but generally the form is. I mean, I can expand in time and lean more on a section, but I'm not. It's too much is going on. I'm not writing it as I go. Some other stuff I do, that one particularly, especially not. So
Yeah. This one comes from Stella. What are you thinking about when you're in the moment creating the music?
That's the lovely thing about being in music, is I'm not thinking about or feeling anything. I'm just music. I it's like, you know, flow state is my release from the my brain, and so that's my delightful place of the absence, where you just are, and almost sometimes feels like my fingers are disembodied.
You know, and I think that's the first time I've ever heard someone refer to that as flow state, but that's very apt. That's a very apt descriptor. There's an anonymous anonymous attendee asking this question. Do you play any other instruments other than the sax? We see a bevy of synths
I don't
back
play
there.
piano. just for a hobby. I mean, yeah, I'll pick them up and use them as I need them. But I've generally been getting rid of them. Well, not getting rid of them. I can't get rid of a musical instrument, which is becoming a problem in my small apartment. But really focusing in back on the basics of the sax, which is kind of where I started. Now, on the other side, my creative practice up to COVID was working in electromechanics and robotics, and so that's a completely different thing. And but they were still musical, and I was making musical machines, large musical machines, on a regular basis with a group called Ape Technology that I was a member with the principal. His name's Chip Flynn, and a great friend of mine, a creative force in and of himself, and he really brought me into that scene. So that was the solid 10 years before COVID.
Wow. A question from Ivy goes like this: how long does it take to create a piece?
Sometimes weeks, sometimes 30 seconds. It just depends on, what falls out. And then there's some that are just never done. So
I think it was Miles Davis that once said, it's not necessarily the notes that you play, but it's the notes that you don't play. Yeah.
Exactly.
How do you work some of that philosophy into your compositions? Because I noticed a lot of nuance. In addition to, you've got a mix of kind of a classical and almost jazzy improvisational bent as well. How do you work some of those subtle nuances into your compositions, and how do those become prominent, even though they may be notes you're not playing per se?
Right. I mean, I try to only play what's native to me, right? And so, like, yes, both of those influences are coming out because that's what I'm listening to. I'm back and forth constantly between the Minimalists and of course Wayne Shorter, and this past couple of weeks, and just everything in between. And then I'll throw in Metallica really loud, and the Melvins. So it's like it's all in there, and I just try and make what's native. As far as the Miles's famous the notes in between, it's that's a real piece of maturity that I still am not totally there, but I'm a lot better, because I used to play all the notes all the time at speed, and just to learn to pull back and to give an idea room to breathe in and of itself has been both difficult and the most rewarding part about my practice in the past few years.
Now, this next question comes from your Salon colleague for tonight, Natasha Beste. She wants to know, what do you think about playing alone? What do you think that enables you to do versus collaborating?
I don't have to subject anybody to my slightly domineering personality. So people have played with me, if they'll know, they'll be like, yeah. Um, but also, I have 2 jobs, I have 2 kids, I have such a gigantic amount of life that actually I spend a lot of time playing. My only time to actually get to play is here in this apartment where they've got plenty of neighbors, and so I've just learned to play quietly alone by myself. And it also goes with the stripping back and the tearing out of unnecessary things. Not that other musicians are unnecessary. I'd love to play with somebody else. It's just to getting down to the simplification of it all.
Yeah. At the beginning of the salon, we have what we kind of call an introductory music bed. So as we're kind of inviting people into the chat, to the Zoom environment, there's music playing. And the music that was played today was from your, I assume, debut EP. Tell us a
Yeah.
little bit what that was like and putting that together. Just give us a 411 on your EP.
Well, so I haven't been able to really concentrate on it, and that's been the beauty of this fellowship year with Kresge. Is I mean, beyond that I can get this and I can buy that. And I can get, what it's given me is the psychological space where the wolf isn't at the door anymore, and I can be like, okay, I don't need to like hustle every damn dollar all the time, and I can relax and actually think. And that's what has led to this particular creative output, and just to have that steadiness allowed me to really explore the feelings and to assemble all the stuff that I've been listening to, and just kind of stacking away in the file cabinets, and to fuse it all and find out, to draw it out in the way that I need to hear music. So.
Gotcha. Now, you've got a confluence of things going on. You've got kids, you've got a life. Did your creative process and your music change any during the pandemic? Was it a
100%.
catalyst?
I mean, like I said, from doing the robots and the like we created a algorithmic robotic gong orchestra, and we did a gigantic shadow puppets thing for de-electricity out behind the DIA, like what doing all this huge mechanical, very complex computer-oriented work, to dialing back into that very personal style of the body, and identifying with my body, and coming back to my body after having been distanced from it for 30 years. So that's really what the changeover has been. It's been my bardo. So
what's one thing that you hope people take away from your work?
Just that they get moved from here to there, or even here to there, or even here, I just that I move something re-clicks, and new synapses fire together in the brain, and I'm trying to just we've got plenty of ugliness in this world. I'm just trying to raise the overall beauty level as much as I can.
All right.
In an age of ugliness, beauty is an act of subversion. That's one of my favorite quotes lately, and that's where I'm at.
Absolutely. Before I ask the last question here, just want to garner some comments about your work, because it's moved our audience tonight. Someone says, I'm definitely and deeply moved. Another said, your music is ethereal, the perfect descriptor, beautiful, gorgeous. I literally have goosebumps. Fantastic piece, great elemental work. So you've got something here. You've got
I hope
something
so.
here.
And so to those people that liked it, I'm here comes the shameless self promotion. I'm learning how to self promote, and I've got an EP out that I just opened today in honor of this webcast. So they'll put in the information in the chat how you can find out how to listen to more of this, and that actual performance went straight to the record on Bandcamp. So
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, so at this time, we're going to bring Natasha back, and this is kind of like our final round of questions and discussion and Q&A with you both. Fantastic, fantastic artistic presentations tonight. I applaud whoever the planning committee was that paired you two together. This was a dynamic duo, just dynamite presentations that sort of went hand in hand.
Serendipity is a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
It is. It is. So we'll open it up to a final round of questions with our audience, with you. And then if there's anything on your mind or anything else that you'd like to share about your art, and things that maybe, what's one thing that maybe people misconceive or don't understand that you'd like to clear up about some of your artistic works, or maybe the way or the methodology that you go about creating, we can address that in our last few minutes as well. So we'll open it up, and let me take a look into the chat and see what we got. Well, it seems like we've got hand claps and applause. So the applause meter is off the chain in chat. Well, I will ask this. In terms of some of the resources and support and just the notoriety that you're getting from the Kresge Foundation, being a fellow, what are some of your short and long-term goals with your fellowship?
Leith, do you want to go first?
I try not to dwell too much in the past or the future, because both of the places have always been problematic for me. But I want to continue on with this and figure out new ways. Like I said, I'm busy, so it's not like I can very easily tour or anything like that. So I want to find some new ways to be able to perform this for people, while maintaining the life that I also have. So that's going to probably I'm going to look more virtual or streaming, making streaming performances, stuff like that, is kind of my interest. Also, playing more in tune is a big goal of mine. So
for me, I think I had mentioned this earlier. Really, I just was on the go, work for so many years. And during, COVID and making this film, it was a time when I allowed, there was no other choice during COVID, but, I was allowing myself to slow down, and I'm still in the slow down mode, and I'm still in a reflection mode. And during, this year with Kresge has a lot of awesome opportunities, for you through mentorship and workshops and other, helpful things that help you reflect and help you look ahead. But I don't plan on zooming forward just yet. I'm still kind of in reflection mode, and I don't know, really just like being honest with myself and asking myself, what do I really enjoy doing? Where do I really want to be? What activities, what movements, what is enjoyable? What's bringing me joy? What is fun? So trying to just always align that with the work that I do, and thinking about the next piece, and what do I have already. I have a lot of, I worked at a photo lab in the late 90s, and I went to lots and lots of raves in the late 90s. I was documenting, I was shooting video, and I'm wondering how I can do that, how I can create a piece surrounding that, what's my story in it, and make it something that's interesting, and not just this is what I captured, but like, I don't know, trying to find a deeper story or another story that I can pair with it. I don't know. so I'm kind of in the searching mode, reflecting mode.
Sure.
But Kresge has been awesome for that this year.
Yeah, absolutely. Talk a little bit about, because you're Detroit-based, Metro Detroit-based artist. Let's just talk logistically how that affects the synergy with the music. Has it had an impact, being a Detroit artist? What has the influence or impact been on your music?
Oh, 100%. I mean, it's from bakers to motor. It's the let's stop being modest. It's the greatest music town in the world, and it's just nice to be here in it, and so just absorbing everything around. You can't throw a stick in this town without hitting a musician, and they're all good, and it's quite a drive, right? So yeah, from beginning to end, Detroit forever.
Yeah. And how about you, Natasha?
I mean, funny thing is I'm a musician too and a performer. And I actually wanted to ask Leith, I'm stepping over here. I'll try to answer that, but I wanted to ask Leith, when you are creating, when you are playing, when and listening to your own music, what visuals are coming to mind? What visuals are popping up? I'm curious to hear that.
None. I'm sorry.
Oh,
sorry to say it. I'm like I said, I'm a big pair of ears with feet walking around.
wow.
And so it's more of like I'm capturing that feeling when you wake up from a dream, and that last grasp of the feeling that you have. That's what I'm catching is there. It's addressing the place between what words we have for words we haven't invented yet about a feeling. That's what music does for me. So
I love that.
It kind of sounds.
I love that.
Well, you know me, I like to just throw things out into the universe and let the universe just kind of work on that. And maybe that's serendipitous, but Natasha, your film, Leith, your music, film scoring, music. I'm just gonna let that marinate a
Not
little
saying
bit.
nothing, just saying. Right?
Oh yeah, no, I mean, because I'm always pairing the two together. So
Yes.
definitely, I mean, when that low end, like you hit that low end, I mean, that just like, I don't know, got
That's
chills.
To answer the previous question, that's Detroit right there. It ain't
right.
Detroit unless it's got some low end, right?
Yeah. I love that.
That bass in your abdomen.
Yep. Yep. You feel it. Yep.
All right, well, we're going to wrap this up. Any last statements for Kresge, for the audience that is here tonight, and also those that will be viewing this in the future? This is a recorded piece. Anything that you'd like to say, maybe to aspiring filmmakers, aspiring musicians, about how they can further their art and evolve and take their art to the next level?
I would say, well, first, thank you so much. Thank you all. Thank you to the interpreters. And thank you, Leith, for being my partner in this. It's been really cool.
Cheers to that.
And just you can do something now. And I'm talking to artists who are listening. You look around you, what you have, utilize what you have around you, utilize what a friend has, somebody has, or you have a phone, but make art, tell stories with things that surround you, that you have right in front of you. There isn't a like, I'll wait until I get this piece of equipment, or if I can afford this, or just, you got it, you can do it now.
Yeah, absolutely. And what about yourself, Leith?
Never, ever, ever quit. Uh, don't listen to that voice that says you don't. And this is everybody, past, future, musician, plumber, construction worker, teacher, you know, it doesn't matter. Compassion is vital. And you want to succeed at anything, and to be able to feel others' feelings is so key. So compassion is vital.
Yeah. All right, and we'll end with that. Thank you so much, Natasha, Beste, Leith Campbell. My goodness, this was a fascinating conversation, compelling presentations. Thank you so much for spending your time with us this evening.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Now, we hope that you enjoyed your time and leave today feeling more deeply connected to these talented artists, but even much more so importantly, inspired. So please continue to remain in connection with them. If you go to the chat, they've left their contact information, how you can keep track of their future works, what they're doing now, and then stay in contact with them. Their contact information has been dropped in the chat. Now, if you'd like to rewatch or share this program, it will be posted on the Kresge Arts in Detroit Presents.art page within the next few days. We also hope that you're going to join us again for the next installment in this series. That's going to be next Friday, March 24th. Actually, looks like 2 Fridays from now, March 24th at 6 p.m., featuring artists Razi Jeffrey and Jayla Mosley. And then you can learn more and register for the Salon using the link in the chat. So thank you again. And on behalf of Kresge Art in Detroit and WDET, thank you so much for making today's Salon such a meaningful and impactful space to be in. My name's Chris Campbell. We'll see you next time.